And now it's time for a brief moment in hockey history with Old Time Hockey. Here is the story of the Kansas City Scouts. In 1974, the NHL ended its first significant expansion period that started way back in 1967, this time by adding the teams Kansas City and Washington. Kansas City was awarded a franchise on June 8, 1972, and Kemper Arena was constructed to host the team's home games. The Scouts did have to share Kemper Arena with the Kansas City Kings basketball franchise from the National Basketball Association. That team would later move and now become the Sacramento Kings. The arrival of the Kansas City Scouts and Washington Capitals resulted in the NHL creating 4 divisions and renaming the conferences, with each having 2 divisions. The Scouts were placed in the Smythe Division of the Campbell Conference. The Scouts were originally to be called the Kansas City Mohawks, but the name was objected to by the Chicago Blackhawks, who thought the name and logo of the team looked and sounded too similar to their own. The team would then hold a contest for people to name the new team. The name Scouts was chosen and named after the Scout, which is located in Penn Valley Park and overlooks downtown. It is an iconic statue that is featured on the team's logo. It was on October 9th, 1974, the Scouts took to the ice for the first time at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. There they lost in a 6-2 effort against the Maple Leafs. To allow construction for the Kemper Arena to be completed, the Scouts played their first 8 games on the road, where they lost 7 and tied 1. On November 2nd, 1974, the Scouts made their home debut against the Chicago Blackhawks, losing 4-3. The following day, the team's first victory came against the Washington Capitals by a score of 5-4. Like most expansion teams of the time, the Scouts did very poorly, and in their first season only won 15 games, lost 54, and tied 11. The team's second season started out with some promise. Near the midway of the season, the team was competing for a playoff spot, being only 1 point back of the St. Louis Blues as of December 28, 1975. However, this is the best that they would ever do, as Kansas City would go into a freefall for the remaining 44 games. They would go winless from December 30th all the way to February 4th, posting a record of 0 wins, 14 losses, and 2 ties. They would break this streak by defeating the Washington Capitals on February 7th, but then for the rest of the season, they would post a record of 0 wins, 21 losses, and 6 ties, which would leave them with an end-of-season record of 12 wins, 56 losses, and 12 ties. The writing was already on the wall for the Kansas City Scouts, as a poor win-loss record and even poor attendance made the NHLPA worry if the Scouts would even make the payroll. Shortly after the season ended in 1976, the Scouts were put up for sale and were purchased by a group in Colorado and were subsequently renamed the Rockies. The Rockies would spend 6 seasons in Colorado before ultimately moving to the East Coast and becoming the New Jersey Devils in 1982. Following the departure of the Scouts, Kansas City became a minor league hockey town, most notably with the Kansas City Blades operating from 1990 to 2001 in the International Hockey League. To this day, the Devils make almost no mention of their past as the Scouts or the Rockies. The Devils Media Guide and the history section of the Devils website do not acknowledge any captains, coaches, or general managers prior to the move to New Jersey. However, inside the Prudential Center, the Devils' home rink, there is a mural on the second-floor wall that shows the former arenas of the Rockies and Scouts, along with the Devils' original New Jersey home, the Brendan Byrne Arena. And this has been a brief moment of hockey history.